you know what's going on? Maybe it's another drill. Commence binary ignition.
Four Midwest Guys presents Parsecs of the Force, a time for everything Star Wars.
There are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
I have waited a long time for this moment.
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
This will be a day long remembered.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Punch it!
Hello everybody and welcome to Four Midwest Guys Presents Star Wars Parsecs of the Force, a time and place for everything Star Wars. I'm your host, B. Willie, and with me as always, Mr. Brian Eckenbauer.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, B?
Not much, man.
All right, you ready to talk a little Star Wars?
Indeed I am.
All right, so we got some topics. Need to get right into it. There's so much to talk about. So, first up, Star Wars Legends that are appearing in movies and comics, starting with Solo. So, apparently they're going to be bringing back a couple of Dark Horse comic characters in Solo called Tag and Bink. One will be played by Kasdan's son, who co-wrote the movie. The other, I believe, is one of the directors. So maybe not huge roles if that's the case. Otherwise, I think they would get regular actors for them. But it maybe just kind of a cameo and a nod, so to speak.
Yeah, like I think it's going to be one of those things where they know who it is, but when we're watching the movie, we're not going
to pick up on it, maybe.
No.
But it does lead to the question, if these two minor characters, and they are re-releasing the Dark Horse comics, I guess, even though they're technically Legend, just so people are familiar, which is kind of an interesting, or Dark Horse is anyway.
Right.
Also on that, so if they're gonna lend a nod, this will be the first time outside of Star Wars Rebels, though, that we've seen Legend characters reintroduced into Star Wars canon. So this is kind of a big step because we're actually into the movies, which is the hierarchy is the biggest thing, right? In Star Wars canon. So what do you think about possibly them including other? Will we see other Legends characters make their way into Solo, or do you think it'd be other future projects down the road? I guess. I
don't know if we'll see other unfamiliar to those of us who didn't follow the extended universe, the EU.
Right.
In Solo, I think we'll see they said Tag and Bink are in there, which I've never even heard of before.
Right.
Before we made the graphic.
Right.
But from what I gathered from looking at all the images when I pulled them up, it appears to be like a comedy duo.
Yeah.
They drop them into certain scenes.
Right.
It was just, I don't know. It looked weird.
Yeah.
But I think what we might see, as far as what I would consider a Legend, we might see I don't know.
Well, the big one would be Thrawn, but whatchamacallit's already taken that and run with
Rebels.
It.
Yeah,
Rebels
they're not gonna bring Thrawn in.
Yeah. But I could see some bounty hunters, maybe. We
might see bounty hunters. I think we're gonna see Jabba.
Yeah, Jabba would definitely be one.
There was talk that they would bring Jabba in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're bringing anybody else in. I think they're gonna wait and they're gonna kind of like how they did with Thrawn. They're just gonna pick and plug. Yeah. So they're gonna pick, say, we liked what was that, Darth Raven or Raven? Or
Raven's one of them, yeah.
Yeah, Darth Raven. They're gonna pick that one up and drop them in somewhere in a different.
In the old Knights of the Old Republic.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, maybe not even that. Maybe they might drop them in somewhere else.
Change it all up.
Yeah, because Thrawn wasn't in the way that this was played. They just put him in there.
They put him in Rebels early, yeah.
So but they're gonna use characters that people have liked and put them in, kind of like they did with Jason Syndulla.
Yes, which is he's not a Legends character, but he is a new character, and surprise.
But it was a new character with a nod to Jason Solo.
Right, correct. So, so they're throwing the Legends fans a bone. I guess maybe they won't get everything they want, but maybe they'll get at least a hint or a mention, or that they may not use them exactly like they use them in the books, because who wants to do that anyway? You want to be surprised by whatever new storyline they come up with.
Right.
So, but yeah, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see some different bounty hunters that we saw maybe in Empire Strikes Back make their reappearance, especially in Solo. Everybody's still wondering if, obviously, if Boba Fett's going to be in it or not. I think he will. But yeah, I could definitely see some. There is a what's his name? There's a bounty hunter named Bane, not Darth Bane, but back in Clone Wars. They could put in this movie too. He's a really badass bounty hunter too, by the way. So I can see a lot of older characters reappearing, but I could also see them pulling, like you said, pick maybe like they did with Thrawn, take him completely out of the timeline and place him somewhere that we're not expecting, like earlier version of the character or later version of the character, or or some sort of mythology when it comes to the Force, maybe especially with Raven and Darth Bane even. So yeah, I could definitely see a lot of different characters definitely coming back into canon in brand new ways, which for me would be exciting even as a Legends, even if I'd read about the characters in the Legends books, and I have read some, but not all of them, obviously. But it would be cool to see them not only make an appearance, but to see what new twist they put on it. Like, what's his character? This is what I think of him, but they're going this way with him, and how's that going to work out? And
right, which I sometimes I like that when it works out like that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I don't.
It cannot live up to your expectations. That is the dark side of it.
Well, yeah, that, and there's also that expectation of the way the way that character has been built and portrayed. Mm-hmm. For example, not to get completely out of the Star Wars realm, but a show that we just started watching, Krypton.
Yes.
The Zods are black.
Right, or African American, yeah.
But in Superman's Man of Steel,
he's been white so far. Yeah.
And it's just one of those, like,
kind of throws you for a slight loop, yeah.
Which I don't mind watching. I mean, it's still interesting. Like, they could have done it without making them Zods.
Right.
Like, the characters still fit, but it was just odd to, like, for something like that. So, like, if they did like a Thrawn, mm-hmm. Okay, well, we've already seen them pull Thrawn, but I was going to use that as an example.
Okay.
And say they brought the Thrawn character in,
yeah,
but Thrawn was a girl.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Really throw you for
like,
a loop.
Like a super twist on a character.
Right.
Like, all the stuff is all lined up the same. Mm-hmm. Still a badass fighter, tactician, everything else. Mm-hmm. But it's a girl instead of guy. The fans are going to be like, What the fuck? That was stupid. Right? But those of us who never knew about Thrawn are like, oh, I really like this character. It's really good, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But those people who have read it, it's almost like, when you try to start pulling those kind of things, you're putting them in the wrong spots, essentially. Mm-hmm. And almost kind of sometimes feel like they're trying to piss off.
Because you have this expectation or this thing built up in your mind, especially if it's a character from a book.
Yeah.
Because it's open to interpretation, obviously, outside of artistic drawings. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So I agree. There's the good side of it and there's the dark side of it, and they have to maintain a very careful balance, I think, between the two. So we'll just have to see what happens. I'd love to see more Legends characters pulled. I think there's a deep well. It's kind of like Marvel has a deep well of characters to pull from the comics.
There's a deep pool of characters.
And there's a deep pool of characters for Star Wars to pull from from the Legends. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. So going from good old Tag and Bink here to HOLDO. So I guess they were interviewing Laura Dern, who plays Vice Admiral HOLDO in The Last Jedi, and she kind of hints, I guess, in the interview that she believes that HOLDO may have been or was slightly Force sensitive.
It's not even that she believes.
Yeah.
She said, her quote was that she had a conversation with Rian Johnson, and Rian Johnson told her
that she was Force sensitive.
Yeah. Like what the... Whatever. Okay, so my argument with this... Are we starting an argument, or are you just going to talk about it first?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so my argument about this whole thing is, if you're Force sensitive, then why do you let 8 to 10 of your spaceships get completely blown out of the... You know what I mean?
Before she decides to ram them.
Before you decide to turn around and blow... ram them yourself.
Yeah. Not only that, but I see no evidence in the movie... And there's a book about it. There's a book with her and Leia in it, and I haven't read that yet. But outside of that, unless it's heavily mentioned there, I see no evidence whatsoever that Laura Dern's character, Vice Admiral Holdo, is force sensitive.
No.
In any way, shape, or form.
I mean, unless she's thinking that when they both went to say, "May the Force be with you" at the same time, that means they both have the same force sensitive powers.
Now, don't get me wrong. The more when I think about it, I'm like, well, if they had put that in the movie, then it would have been cool. Especially if she was kind of like Leia's apprentice kind of thing kicking.
Okay.
I would probably, but again, unless I completely went over my head, maybe. And I usually catch most things in Star Wars. I don't see it.
I didn't see it at all. Not in any of the scenes. Not in any of the. Like, if she was force sensitive, she didn't use it when she was attacked on the bridge by Poe.
Right.
She didn't use it when, as they were talking or anything to kind of shut Poe up. Or
the only time she does something is when she hits the exhaust vent, to counter his mutiny. That's the only time she does any kind of real action.
But even then, she doesn't use her foot.
She just uses her foot or something. And it's like and not only that, but she's been standing there a while after the mutiny. So obviously she had time to think about it. So it's not like it was suddenly like a force epiphany or something. So yeah, it makes it very hard to accept that argument in any way, shape, or form. Because if that was Rian Johnson's intent, then it's not there.
Yeah,
in the movie. And like I said, I dig the idea of Leia maybe being her master or training her slightly, or if you want to, like Poe. I've heard the argument made that Poe may be slightly force sensitive just because of his pilot abilities and how strong he is. And there's a book where his parents receive a force tree from Luke Skywalker. Maybe that somehow influenced him from little on, and therefore that's why he's such a damn good pilot. Anyway, that's in another book leading up to The Force Awakens, if I remember. I can't remember which book now. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, it's a cool idea. I like the idea, but it certainly does not come across in the movie, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know. You got anything?
No, I mean that's my argument. Yeah. It's like she let all those people die before she was just like, what? What's going on? Yeah. What? Like she would have sensed it,
right?
But no, she didn't.
She, it would have been cool, like if she had sensed like the first laser bolt coming, like all of a sudden she gets like that, spider sense,
right,
tingling kind of look or something. But you don't get that. So I don't know if we're wrong. Maybe we missed it. If I missed it, if Brian missed it, let us know. Send us send us a thing on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Let us know, and I'd love to hear the counter argument to it. If you guys really think she is, if you think there's any validity,
or if you think that Laura Dern's just trying to make, oh no, I was force sensitive, trying to tell her kids I played a force sensitive character in Star Wars.
Yeah, I just don't see it. It's really just not there any way, shape, or form, and it just kind of makes me scratch my head constantly. I'll even go back and watch The Last Jedi again, looking just for it. But I can't think of anything right now. So, but we'll come back to it if I happen to find something. I'll let you guys know. So, all right. So let's switch over to our next topic. So, big news. I guess it was either today or yesterday.
Yesterday.
This dropped. Yeah, yesterday. So, last program we told you how they were recording the score for Solo. And with Mr. Powell, and apparently that's now completed, and now they are applying that soundtrack to the movie in the editing room. I believe it was director
Ron
Howard broke the news, I believe, on Twitter, and so he
showed a behind the scenes picture.
Behind the scenes picture, he showed the editing machine and kind of like the soundtrack, the computer with the soundtrack on it. So, and he also revealed the other bigger news is out of it. Not only are they applying the music to the movie, but that there's another trailer coming. Yep. So this is kind of big news because they always called the first trailer, the one on the Super Bowl, as well as the actual trailer premiered the next day, as the quote-unquote teaser trailer. Therefore, making you think that there is going to still be a further trailer. So now we have confirmation of that indeed. What do you think, Brian?
I'm excited to see I enjoyed what we've gotten so far, but I think it would be better when we get the actual full trailer.
Oh yeah,
like it'll be fun to be able to dissect and see who we see in that trailer, as opposed to just the quick snippets that we got. I mean, I didn't even care for the trailer the way it was originally done. I really liked it with the sabotage when the fan remade it.
That was very good. Well done. That sabotage trailer. We have to put that back up on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I mean that was really good. But I can't wait to see the new. What kind of music will it have with it? Will it be a generic soundtrack? Will it be some of the music from the movie, or will it actually be like a rock song kind of like one of those kind of upbeat kind of trailers? If
they did the rock song thing, which I'm not opposed to, but that would definitely be breaking with tradition. But if you're going to break with Star Wars tradition on trailers, I'd rather them experiment with a standalone. So I wouldn't be opposed to it necessarily. But however, I think it will. I think because now they have the score, and it has been applied to the scenes, and now they can take that same score and cut a trailer with that.
Right,
music.
That'll be cool too if we can hear any kind of like solo theme or any kind of that thing while it's in the trailer. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be very cool to hear, or at least get a hint of what John Williams wrote, and see if our theory is right. Is it kind of like Luke and Leia? Is it kind of like Han and Leia's theme? Is it similar? Right. It'll be interesting to see. The other thing I really want from a new trailer, I want to hear Alden Ehrenreich speak. I want to hear him say more than whatever his little bitty lines of "You're the only one that probably really," or he doesn't even say that. She says that.
She says that. He goes, "Really?
Really? Yeah."
And like he says one line, one word lines.
I'm going to be a pilot. I think is all we really hear. The best in the galaxy. I want to hear more than that.
But it would be nice to be able to see him, and hear him speak
at the same time.
Yeah, because we've seen him, and we've heard him speak, but I don't think we've seen it together. Besides the very end of that trailer when he's confronted by her, and she's like, "I know what you really are," and he's like,
"Yeah,
what?" And then we're good.
Yeah, I thought we were in trouble there, but we're good. That's the only thing we've gotten so far. So I want to see a little bit of an extended scene. It doesn't have to be super long, obviously, because it's a trailer, but give me at least, I don't know, 20 seconds clip of him acting as Han Solo. Something. I don't know. What other things would you want to see in the trailer, Brian?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to see a ton because I don't want the whole movie to be given away.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I heard somebody talking about, what they thought would be kind of cool. I mean, this maybe not for the trailer. I mean, but it might be for the trailer. Was if we hear Harrison Ford give like an opening kind of like
an opening monologue.
Like why remember blah blah blah, and he's telling somebody about it.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to
or
like a flashback to this story.
Or I'll do you one better on that. What if it's Lando? Because Han's dead, so depending on where they are in the timeline, obviously. But
right, But even it won't be because Billy D. Williams wasn't part of this.
But it would be cool if they brought him in for that little cameo scene, and like he's telling the story of him and Han.
I mean, it would be, but I don't think. Either one, I guess, would be okay. But I would prefer to hear Han.
You'd rather it be Han than
Han. Almost do like the beginning of How I Met Your Mother. And like they joked about it. I forgot who I was watching.
Yeah.
And they joked about it, and they said, "What if it's Han telling a young Ben
about his adventures as a child?"
Yeah. You know what I mean?
That'd be interesting.
So before he becomes Kylo Ren, he's still Ben Solo.
Right. Before he goes off to be a Jedi training.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be interesting. It'd be a different way to open the movie, that's for sure. And it would definitely be a surprise for a lot of people. It would probably be like,
well, it would tie it in.
Moment, yeah, and it'd be like, Harrison's back. Yeah, that'd be great if they've done that, and they've done a really good job of hiding it then, because I've heard anything like that. But that would be super cool.
Yeah,
if that was the case. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to obviously a full trailer. Obviously, we'll do a full breakdown just like we did with the teaser trailer. It'll be extensive. You know me.
Maybe.
So. Oh, come on, Brian. It'll be great.
Maybe.
It'll be awesome, man. You know me. There'll be 1,000 pictures, and we'll break it down. We'll talk about every single last detail.
Yep.
So you'll know completely. That's me.
Oh, yeah. We're like, he took 34 steps. That's in reference to the 34 pilots that died in the...
And this is where Han Solo took a shit. It was awesome.
Yep.
All right. All right, final topic today is a controversial one.
Oh, speaking of shit.
Yeah. So let me preface this story because this thing started as an online petition. There's no official story of any kind whatsoever other than this was just a petition by a by a certain group of fans, although a very warped and minority group of fans, if you ask me.
I don't know. There is a lot of support behind this.
All right. So,
I'll get into it once you talk and finish. Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, this is a petition to have Meryl Streep step in and take over the role of Princess Leia, General Leia Organa in Episode 9.
Which is supposed to be Leia-centric.
So, Meryl Streep taking on the role of Leia in Episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just going to say this once, and children, cover your ears. Not just no, but fuck no. And that's where I stand. Brian?
Okay, so I'm in the same boat. However, what's funny is that I don't mind her in any of the stuff she's done, and she gets into her character.
Oh yeah,
she's probably the best actress of our generation.
Yeah,
she's not even our generation, but we've grown up with her.
Mm-hmm.
The positives with this is that she does get into her role. Yeah. Like, she does lose herself in her role, and after a little bit, you don't even realize that it's her playing that role. You're watching the character.
Yes.
2, she was extremely good friends with Carrie Fisher, and at one point, Carrie Fisher wanted her to play her in a movie that Carrie Fisher wrote about Carrie Fisher, and she wanted Meryl Streep to play her.
Okay.
Supposedly, Carrie Fisher's daughter would have no problem with Meryl Streep playing her mother.
Okay.
However, if that changed, then obviously, hopefully. My issue is how Hollywood political garbage Meryl Streep has been lately, and how anti-presidential, what feels like anti just anything American for me. That's what that's what Meryl Streep has felt like for me, and that's what soured me. Like, I didn't even watch several of the award shows.
Yeah.
Because I knew she would be on there, and every time she gets on stage, it's not a thanks for voting for me, blah 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 blah. It turns into a
political rant,
and it's just I don't care for it, and like, so that's one of my negative. My other negative is what she take away from the movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is Star Wars. This is Star Wars that takes essentially nobodies and turns them into somebodies for the most part.
For the most part.
Like, taking a Meryl Streep and putting her in that role that's supposed to be a Leia-centric movie.
Yeah.
Is it going to be, oh, that's that Meryl Streep movie? Mm-hmm. Or will it still be Star Wars?
Right. So, here's my take. And my take, other than not just no, but fuck no. And I just had to get that off my chest because that was my first reaction when I read it. And here's my reasons behind it. Number one, if you're going to put Princess Leia in Episode 9, then why not just use the CGI? It's pretty damn good. It's pretty close to perfection. It wasn't quite there in Rogue One, but it was pretty damn close. So why not use that technology again for Episode 9, if that's what you're going to do? Which I'm pretty sure they're just going to say that she died off screen. I'm almost positive Episode 9 will happen 5 years later, and they'll say it may open with Princess Leia's funeral for all we know, or it may just say in the crawl she's passed away, and that's the end of it. But if you're going to do it, do the motion capture, find a motion capture, somebody who can get her mannerisms down, and then use voice modulation and use the CGI if you're going to put her back in 9. That's the best way to do it. As far as I'm concerned. Recasting to me is not an option. Is the character bigger than Carrie Fisher? Yes, but anybody else stepping into that character, especially in this timeline and this period, and not to use her likeness to do it is an injustice to the storyline. I can't. It doesn't matter how much makeup they put on Meryl Streep, and it doesn't matter how good of an actress she is. When I look at her playing Princess Leia, I'm going to see Meryl Streep. I am not going to see Princess Leia.
Yeah, but what if the whole point of the movie is for it to bring Carrie Fisher's role, to bring Princess Leia role? Mm-hmm. Like that was her, that was her deal. Like, that movie was going to bring.
I'm convinced. Yeah.
No, you think that you can't do that? Like you have to now that Carrie Fisher's died, the character for Episode 9 is gone.
I think
like there's no way to do it without using the horrible CGI stuff that they've shown so far.
Yes, I think that if you're going to do it, you have to do it that way. That you have two options: you either kill her off screen, or you use the CGI. And was Episode 9 supposed to be Carrie Fisher's movie? Yeah, I do, because especially what we saw in Episode 8 especially. We saw her use the Force in a really big way. A lot of people found it a little hokey, but she's obviously knows how to use the Force. She used the Force to save herself. So, and the way they end...
What if her Force essence goes into Meryl Streep?
No.
And then she could be her.
No, there's going to be no Force possession.
Wow, Force possession.
No.
Be the new thing for Episode 9.
Not going to happen. But also how 8 ended, because we end with 8. You got Carrie Fisher sitting next to Rey, and Rey's like, how do we go forward? And she grabs her hand and says, we have all we need. I think Episode 9 has Leia, not Luke, Leia training Rey and completing her training with her. I think that's what was supposed to happen, and I think you were supposed to see a confrontation between, Leia, Rey, and Kylo. I think that was the original.
What if they reshoot that scene where we have what we need to have, and they put it at the beginning of Episode 9, but they reshoot it with Meryl Streep in Leia's spot?
Nope. Negative. Not going to happen. Can't have it. I will
say it. You'll what, Brian? Oh, I don't know, man. It's a tough call, because if that's the way the story is gonna go, then you like to see somewhat consistent throughout the whole thing.
I can't. Recasting to me is just not an option. Not at this point in time. If they wanted to recast her at the beginning of the trilogy before they did the whole new thing, maybe then. But you're right in the middle of the trilogy. You've had Princess Leia in 7. You've had her in 8. To not do the CGI, if you're going to put her in 9, to not do the CGI is a misjustice. And to the Star Wars story, to the telling of the story, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And like I said, Brian, I know you weren't crazy about the CGI, but there were moments when I watched Rogue One and there wasn't anybody else around Tarkin. It looked just like him, and it sounded just like him. It sounded just like Peter Graves.
Right, it'd be different if like Leia was if Leia wasn't around anybody. Mm-hmm. But she has to interact with people.
Right, but
in the scenes where he did interact, it looked bad.
So they learned from their mistakes and they improved the technology. I mean, look at the leaps and bounds they made. So if you go back to the prequels, right, you had Episode 1 was the beginning of CGI, right? They took that technology when they did Lord of the Rings and they mastered it, especially with Gollum and stuff and motion capture.
Okay.
Who says they can't do it? I think they can.
Good luck to them.
They've got enough money. They've got the special effects. ILM is the masters. So I think it's possible. But I'm not saying they have to. I say that they're still going to kill her off screen, and that'll be the end of it. But if they bring her back, don't recast her.
Good.
Use the CGI.
Are you gonna boycott?
Huh?
Are you gonna boycott? if they have if Meryl Streep gets cast?
I won't boycott it. I'll go see it.
Will you?
Yeah. I'll go see it, but don't expect me to like it. That's for damn sure. I will protest. I'll make T-shirts if I have to. I don't care. But I'll go see it. Yeah. I'm just not crazy about Meryl Streep, number one, in case you haven't noticed. And yeah, I am a little biased towards her, and I'll, for the record, out there in the open, don't like her.
She comes out running on the screen singing ABBA songs.
I don't like her. I just don't like her. So, for many reasons. Not just the political side of her. There's other sides to her, I think. Well, I'm not going to get into it. But it's not going to be a hate session on Meryl Streep. I'm more sticking with the side of the argument of Leia. And even if they pick somebody else other than Meryl Streep to do Leia, I wouldn't like it either.
What if they pick a no-name that looks very similar to Carrie Fisher?
Even then, I think like I said, I think it's an injustice if you don't use that CGI technology. Because you can get a perfect replica with the CGI.
I don't know.
Just my 2 cents on the
that
thing.
Makes sense. There's a lot of people that have the same opinion as you.
Yeah. That's just how I feel in my heart, and that's like I said, is the character bigger than Carrie Fisher? Yeah, but at this point and stage in the game, her likeness has to go with it, and they have the technology to do it. So why not do it? If that's the road you're going to take. So
right.
All right, so that takes care of our topics for tonight. Real quick, we've made we're going to go back to the Galactic Senate question. We had a little bit of an issue, and I didn't realize it when I did it. So apparently when you hashtag POTF, which is what we were doing, that is apparently Power of the Force, which is actually a line of action figures and toys. So if you do that, then it gets lost in the whole tweet. So if you guys did give us an answer to this question, then I could not find it in the plethora of Power of the Force action figure tweets. So we're going to re-ask the question again this week. The question is, after the fallout from The Last Jedi, should Rian Johnson still get to make his own Star Wars trilogy? Again, that is, after the fallout of The Last Jedi, should Rian Johnson still get to make his own Star Wars trilogy? Tweet your answers this time to hashtag 4MWG. Again, that's hashtag 4MWG. That stands for 4 Midwest Guys. Leave your answers there, and we'll pick the best answers to put on next week's show. So reach out to us. Tell us what you think. Does Rian Johnson, should he still get his Star Wars trilogy after everything that happened after The Last Jedi? So, all right. Okay, and also, where can you find 4 Midwest Guys? Best place to go is www.4midwestguys.com. There you can find all of our podcasts and shows in chronological order posted on the website itself, or there's also categories at the top that you can click if you just want one particular show in chronological order as well. There we also have links to our iTunes, to our Twitter, to our Facebook, to our YouTube account. You can follow, like, and subscribe from those links as well. And if you are on Twitter, you can follow us at 4 Midwest Guys. Brian, where can they find you on Twitter?
At InkZone.
You can find myself at bwilly1977. And Brian, I know you have 2 other things. One's listed here, one's not. Why don't you tell them about the extra things we got going on here?
Yeah, one is Instagram, and that's at _real_ink. We put up some behind-the-scenes stuff for some of our podcasts. We might do a little bit of mini videos on there. I'm not sure how we're going to keep that one going. But we definitely keep the pictures and stuff going. Okay. The other one is Stardust. Now, this is an app that you can go 3 to 30 seconds of a reaction to a TV show or movie that you've seen, or topic that you've seen, I guess. But it allows you to tag that show or episode and categorizes you with everything else. You can tag me over there so I can watch and possibly bring it up on this show.
Sure.
At InkZone. Okay, so when you're posting your thing, just tag me, and it'll pop up in my feed. And you can. I've done several of them with like Annihilation and several other episodes of things. Krypton was on there. I've done a couple other ones, but I'd love to see your responses. Maybe we can get you guys on one of our podcasts here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to post the video. We can play some video responses on the podcast as well. So it's definitely check that out. I'm gonna have to check that out too. And I love the name Stardust, by the way. Couldn't be better if you're a Star Wars fan. So, all right. Well, Brian, I want to thank you for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yep. And this is B. Willie saying, "May the Force be with you always."